Hey everyone, happy Saturday! Hope you are all fantastic and awesome, and of course enjoying your beautiful Saturday. So I thought I'd give you an update. We had a really awesome couple of days. So we went for a hot air balloon ride this morning, which meant that we had the most ridiculous early start, and I didn't sleep very well. So one of the things, hey Margaret, happy Saturday! One of the things that I struggle with, work through, I'm really resisting saying this word suffering. This is really uncomfortable. I need to shift the thing. Sorry, I don't normally sit out here and, hey Georgina, and I just sort of thought that I would, and well, not necessarily a fabulous idea because I felt like I was sinking into the back of the chair and it wasn't very comfortable. So anywho, so I'm resisting saying the word suffering from because my belief is that when we say that we're suffering from this or we're suffering from that, it kind of embeds it, reinforces it, it makes it a lot harder to shift. So one of the things that I generally that I often kind of work through is feelings of anxiety, and that plays out in different kinds of ways for me. So one of the ways that this plays out is when I'm away. It doesn't tend to matter where I am away to. It could be at my parents' house in Adelaide, it could be in Melbourne, it could be in Las Vegas, it could be San Diego, it could be Bali, it could be wherever, it doesn't really matter. I tend to have a lot of anxiety around not waking up on time, right? Despite having alarms put in my phone, despite having wake-up calls booked in with hotels and stuff like that, I really worry, unnecessarily so, about waking up on time. So the reason for last night's anxiety was that we needed to be up and ready and checked in, ready to go at 5 a.m. this morning for our hot air ballooning experience, which was really great, and I'll tell you about it in a second because it was a really interesting experience. So it was great, right? It was great. I want to talk to you about what the insights were and things like that. So I didn't sleep very well, and I don't tend to sleep very well the first night that I'm away in somewhere different, somewhere new. And it was funny. We got into this hotel last night, and the kids didn't come with us; they stayed home. And I've said to Dom, okay, so are we going out for dinner? We got in at maybe 5:30, 6 o'clock or something, and I said, so are we going out for dinner or are we ordering in room service? And he's gone, oh no, we're going out for dinner. Margaret, you'll think this is hilarious because this is like classic Nicola. I'm just like, oh, okay. Because if he'd said, no, it's fine, like we'll just stay in, we'll order in, I'd have been like, yes, I'm like really happy, because I also tend to get a little bit anxious about being in places that I don't know or having my bearings and stuff like that. So it's just a bit of a kookiness in my personality. I'm one of those introverted extroverts, so like an ambivert. You know, I like being around people, but I don't necessarily like being around a lot of people all the time and this type of this. So anyway, so we went for dinner and that was great. Went home, went back to the hotel, watched a movie and went to bed pretty early. Hey Myrna. So this morning, because we had a 4:30, it's a 4:30 get up and get ready thing, right? Anxiety. That's okay, it's all right. We got there, we were there, it was fun. I'd organised coffee to be ready the way that I make coffee. That's a whole different, separate Facebook Live video, by the way. But I'd organised coffee the night before, just a double shot long black, ready for me to do my buttery goodness concoction thing that I do. And coffee in hand, we get down to the thing and we're all set to go. Great. So we get down to the where we're going to where they're setting the balloon up. If you haven't seen the photos, I hadn't really thought about the process that a hot air balloon goes through in order to actually go up into the sky. I had no clue what happened, not because of anything, I was just kind of ignorant, I suppose. And so we're down there, we're watching it, it's all great, it takes forever to kind of do, and that's fine. We're in the basket, we start taking off, and it's really lovely, like so soft and drifty and loud, right? Because the burners are going in order to get you up into the air. And we're kind of floating around, and there's all the vines over here, and there's all the vines over there, and there's all the vines over there. And there's some more vines over there, and there's some more vines over there, and it's really very pretty, but how many vines does one need to see? This is the thought process going on in my head, right? I'm like, this is really beautiful, and what a great experience, and you know, how lucky are we, and we're blessed, and this is great, and it's going to be amazing, and I'm just thinking, if I've got another 45 minutes of looking at freaking vines, so not that I mean to sound ungrateful, not ungrateful, loved it, was great view, but it was all kind of the same. So the sun came up, and that was really beautiful. Got some photos and some shots of that. And we're floating along, and then something kind of shifted. And the clouds kind of came in a little bit, and you could sort of see that they were thickening up somewhat. And our pilot, I didn't know hot air balloons had pilots. I thought it was just somebody who did the thing. It's really actually quite technical. Again, this is a Nicola who hasn't really thought about it very much. So what happened was, and he said, oh, this is something that doesn't happen very often. And when he kind of like foofed it up, and we went up through the little bit of a cloud layer, which wasn't very big, but then we had to go up right above the cloud line, like what you would in an aeroplane. Which, did you know, as an aside, hot air balloons can rise more feet per second higher than an aeroplane. Kind of crazy. So anyway, up we go, and we're floating above the clouds, and it was absolutely freaking stunning. We were watching the shadow. There's one of the photos that I put up where we were kind of like turned around at one point, and you look over that way, the sun's over here, going over here, and then the shadow of the hot air balloon on the clouds, and there was a 360-degree rainbow around the shadow, around the shadow of the hot air balloon. Now, my photos didn't really do it very much justice. It was just so amazing and ridiculously surprising. And then we're going over a little bit, and then the clouds kind of got thicker, and we ended up smack bang in the middle of this kind of cloud belt. We were just staying put apparently, and the clouds were kind of coming in. The craziness around this is that the clouds have a smell, right? Again, things that I didn't really think about. You know how rain smells? Clouds have smells, and they don't smell like rain, and they don't smell wet. They just kind of smell, and it's a really nice smell. I don't even have a reference point for what it is, but they smell. And we're floating through, and I turned to Dom, you know, there's 16 of us in this hot air balloon. I turned to Dom, I'm like, we're not even getting wet. You know, it was cooler because we couldn't, like, there was no sunlight in it. It was just, we were just sandwiched in this, you know, cloud. And so it's like kind of like we're in a void. It's really interesting. And so, like, that experience of being under and then up and over and then in the middle of this cloud was just really, it was really surprising and not at all what we expected. Georgina, I never knew clouds smell, right? I mean, why would we even know that clouds smell? It was really mind-boggling, actually. And then you're trying to find, you know, what does it smell like? You're trying to find a familiar smell that we know of or that we've smelt before to try and say, oh, well, it kind of smells like this, but there was nothing. They did not smell like anything I've ever smelled ever before. So it's kind of curious. And I guess, like, then we kind of came back down again, and then the landing was sort of interesting. There was a little bit of wind that sort of picked up, and we just, you know, we're about to land at one point, and then you're like, oh, no, we're going up again, and then we're landing, oh, no, we're going up again and landing, oh, no, we're going up again, and then about 3 or 4 attempts into it, we landed where we landed, which was really soft. Actually, it's a soft landing. The balloon tipped over and tipped the basket over, so we're lying in the balloon basket, just like waiting for the balloon to settle down and not do its thing and not drag us along the ground or anything like that. So really interesting. That's kind of like the blow by blow, if you like, experience of this hot air balloon ride. But what I kind of realized, and you know that I'm all about, hey Wendy, really awesome, really awesome to see you. Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. I hope your stuff's still going really well. I haven't seen your name pop in for years. Hope you're doing really well. The interesting thing, and you guys know that I'm always looking for the mirror, right? Hey Jeremy, happy Saturday. Happy Australia Day. You know, I'm always looking for the mirror. I'm always looking for notions and experiences that can tie into business or tie into mindset or tie into whatever. So here's the lesson today. We got into this thing and it was a whole brand new experience, and it wasn't adrenaline based, right? Dom and I were not at all nervous. There was no stress and anxiety. Once we were there, no stress or anxiety about anything at all. It was just like, yeah, we're doing this really great. Other people were having their fear of heights thing and anxiety about stuff thing, and we're just like, yeah, we're rocking. So interestingly, once that initial kind of buzz wore off, I got bored. Right? Like, this is boring, this is kind of the same, and I'm like, if we've got another 45 minutes of this, I'm going to stab myself in the face. You know, this is really freaking boring. Thanks, Jeremy. And then something unexpected shifted and happened and reignited the excitement and almost like this feeling of adventure. The state was no different. The physical location was no different. The circumstances around changed a little bit and changed my state. I gave myself a big talking to as well. It's like, you know what, stop it, Nicola, this is ridiculous. You know, stop being so cynical or, you know, bored or adrenaline seeking or whatever. But this happens all the time with marketing. This stuff happens all the time with business. How often have you gone, yeah, like all new programs even, you know, yeah, I'm going to go do this, it's going to be really exciting, and you kind of get in and it's like, all right, this is great, and you start implementing it, it's like, okay, well, I need to keep doing this thing, this is really freaking boring. You know, yet you know that if you continue, you're going to hit a new level and different things will come into your awareness and different things will excite you, engage you, motivate you, and you'll hit another new level and your experience shifts and changes. I think what I learned today about me is that I'm really, really quick to get bored, which isn't necessarily a good thing, but I also know that I always look for the reason, the experience, the learning and everything within that. So, you know, when it comes to doing different things, sometimes you've got to push through the boredom. Now, this could be around putting out content. This could be around doing sales calls. This could be around trying to find topics for your live streams, for your Facebook posts, for your artwork, for the things that you're doing, for the way that you explain things. You know, you might go through a period of lullness. I don't know that that's a word. I mean, it is now. You know, go through a period of like, before you find the thing to kind of like spark you up and like pull you up and have you go, yeah, you know, this is where I'm going. Jeremy, don't get bored with me as your client yet. Oh no, you keep me on my toes far too much for me to get bored with you. Far too much for me to get bored. So the hot air ballooning lesson is, don't be so quick to discount the lull that can come before the magic that happens, right? Just trust in all of that, yeah. Just trust that it'll turn around and there's new heights, there's new experiences, there's new views, there's new ways of being exposed to this kind of stuff that will just sort of like shift and change things. So interestingly, completely blatant self-promotion because hashtag why not, and it's, you know, 5:30 on Australia Day, so why not talk about it. The registrations for Rebel with a Cause are closing tomorrow night, midnight tomorrow night, And really, the stuff that I teach you is stuff that you are going to be using over and over and over again for the rest of your business life. Now, one thing that I can promise you is it's fucking awesome. And I'm really excited. And it's going to be a massive energy boost for you guys. It's going to be a really great training and learning around content production and using the everyday normal. Sometimes it can feel like really mundane shit, and using that and turning it into gold, right? That's going to be able to help your audience, and that you can use to enforce and enhance and highlight and promote your message with what it is that you're doing out there. But the thing that I can promise you is that it absolutely works, and the magic absolutely happens. Yes, Margaret, the magic does happen. But the thing is that you'll probably end up at one point or another getting bored of doing the thing. And that's where what you need to do, no matter what you do in the future, you've got to go, you know what, I'm putting that boredom aside and I'm going to stay the course. I'm going to stay in that balloon basket because I wasn't going to jump off, right? You stay in the balloon basket, you stay on course, you keep doing the things that you need to do because you know that the magic will happen and that something will turn around and you'll find another way of being able to explain, articulate, share, teach, mentor, coach, guide, whatever, if you follow and you trust that course. And that's really what people are looking for, right? In this day and age of really quick dopamine hits and looking for the instant quick fixes, we've got to become really self-aware and really good at spotting where we're holding ourselves back from allowing the magic to unfold. So if you haven't registered for Rebel with a Cause yet, please go ahead and do so. If you've got any questions about it, let me know. I will post the link. I haven't got my computer here. This is very kind of off the cuff today, hence the different kind of backdrop amongst the washing that's just there. You know, this is the reality today. We've been away. We've literally got home like 20 minutes ago. So that's that. I'll put the link in here. I'll do it after the live. If you've got any questions about it, please let me know. Message me. I'd love to be able to answer them for you. It is a ridiculously cheap program with loads of payment options if you need those as well. So that is me and my hot air balloon goodness story for you today. The magic happens usually after the boredom. And no one's going to go and throw themselves out of a hot air balloon basket just because you don't really like the view anymore. All right? Have a great afternoon. Have a great night. Happy Australia Day. I know that it's a little bit controversial. It is the day that we've got in the calendar at the moment to celebrate, and I'm really grateful for living in this country. I'm really grateful for my parents and moving out here when they did. I'm really, really grateful to be in a land and a world actually where people are just freaking amazing. We are the friendliest people on earth. And until we get a different date where that is perhaps more inclusive and that we can all celebrate with, let's just celebrate today and be grateful for what we do have. All right? Peace out. Have a great night, and I will speak with you really soon. Bye. Join me for Rebels.